NBA rookie power rankings. There have been a lot of phenomenal rookies in this current season right now. I mean, the guy who headlines the list is Lamelo Ball. We all know Lamelo Ball is playing fantastic. You got guys like Tyrese Haliburton, who we all think is a steal of the draft because of where he landed and where we all thought he was supposed to go. So I have 10 rookies here. I'm going to rank them 1 to 10. I don't know how much you have, if you have 1 to 5, regardless. My number 1 rookie this season so far is none other than Lamelo Ball. I think that's pretty obvious to everybody. He's averaging 19, 6 and 6 in 11 starts this season, shooting 44% from the field and 40% from 3 in those starts. And for the year, he's averaging 15, 6 and 6. And to be honest, when you just watch LaMelo play, you see somebody who is destined to become a star player in this league. He plays with so much poise already as a rookie, and he has a really bright future. And in this rookie race, I think he's the clear-cut number 1 guy.
Yeah, I think you'd have a hard time finding anybody who wouldn't put LaMelo number 1 right now. And I said a couple weeks ago when we were talking about most impressive rookies that I wasn't impressed by what LaMelo is doing. I am officially impressed by him. I've watched him a couple times now over the past few weeks where since he's come into that starting role, not only does he look like he belongs, but he looks comfortable. And that's a hard thing for a rookie to do coming into the NBA, but with his professional basketball experience, it's been a seamless transition. He's got a knack for the game, and there's no other way to put it. I know it sounds cliche, but when you watch him, he really does look like he's a superstar in the making, and he's going to have a great career.
Our 1-2 may be the same because my number 2 is pretty obvious as well. Tyrese Haliburton, averaging 13, 4, and 5. He's averaging 16, 4, and 5 in the month of February, and he had a really great game against the Nets, and that game caught the attention of James Harden and Kyrie Irving, as after the game, they were talking to him, giving him some advice, giving him some props for what he did in that game. I mean, he's been so confident in his pull-up game. He's gained that confidence, and I will mention it every single time Tyrese Haliburton comes up because he should, as much as I hate that the Knicks passed on him, because I actually wanted Haliburton instead of Obi Toppin, I hate it more for the Suns. I really do. I hate it more for the Suns because, yes, Chris Paul is their point guard, but how many years does Chris Paul really have left? They could have had a star point guard learning under Chris Paul and Tyrese Haliburton for when Chris Paul finally retires. Tyrese Haliburton would have been ready to take the reins, and they would have been off and going. But instead, they took Jalen Smith, and we all at the time knew that Jalen Smith was not worthy of that 10th overall pick, but the second player on this rookie rankings list has to be Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm also going with Haliburton. He kind of is also like LaMelo Ball in the sense that he's just comfortable out there. Like from day one, he stepped in and looked like he's belonged. He's not only played great for a rookie, but he's played great compared to all NBA players in the league. He's been one of the most efficient three-point shooters in the NBA, and he's been able to step in. And what I think has been really impressive is that he's been able to play next to De'Aaron Fox, which was a lot of people's questions coming in, is how are they going to fit? And he's really made it work. I think he's looked awesome in really all aspects of the game. He did it all at Iowa State, and it's carried over to now. And like you said, steal the draft.
My third guy is not Anthony Edwards. My third guy is Patrick Williams. He's averaging 10 points per game, 5 rebounds, about a steal and a block, shooting 47% from the field and 39.7% from 3, which is basically 40%. And in the month of February, he's averaging 11 and 6. And I think he's just been steady all year. He hasn't had a bad month yet where he's shooting horribly, where he's not playing good. His offense is going to pick up, but he was drafted because he was already a finished product defensively coming out of the draft. He's been a great defender for Chicago, and on a team that they needed defense, they got him. And I think, Anthony Edwards, he does have his highlight plays, and you could put him third because of how many points he's averaging. But personally, for me, his efficiency is just awful. I just, Anthony Edwards, I hope that he picks it up sooner rather than later. He is still a rookie, so I'm not going to chastise him for it. but his efficiency truly is awful. And I'll just say it. Patrick Williams is my third. Fourth is Anthony Edwards, just because of the points he's averaging. He's averaging 14 points per game, averaging 15 in the month of February. And I think that D'Lo going out might have helped Edwards more because now he has more shot attempts, but he's shooting 36% from the field and 30% from three. I mean, his efficiency is truly awful. And I don't know how much credit I can truly give Edwards or how high I can put him on the list when his efficiency is this awful. He's playing a lot of minutes per game too. It's not like he's playing a little bit. This may be a hot take, but it wasn't too long ago where Kevin Knox was the Knicks rookie and he was shooting horrible from the field like this and still averaging like 12 to 13 points per game. Kevin Knox wasn't good. I think Anthony Edwards will be good, but right now his efficiency is god awful.
Yeah, I also don't have Anthony Edwards at 3. I'll give you a hint. I have him at 4 just because I think he's shown flashes and I think it's hurt him that he's had to deal with injuries with Karl Towns and D'Angelo Russell. They really haven't had a set lineup there in Minnesota. They fired their coach. That organization's a mess right now, but I think he's shown some good flashes. But at 3, I went with the guy that I think you'll be happy about, Emmanuel Quickly. Even though I don't think he's gotten the minutes he's deserved in some nights, when he's been out there, I've been really impressed with him. He's shown the ability to not just be able to score the ball at the NBA level, but also be able to handle the rock, play make, create opportunities for his teammates. He's fit in pretty well defensively with Thibodeau's system. I think he's ended up being a really good pick for the Knicks, and it kind of eases the wounds of not taking Haliburton at, I believe, 8, right?
Yes,
8 when they took Toppin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you get Toppin and Quickly on top of it. I think Quickly is one of the biggest steals of the draft beyond Haliburton.
So listen to this. In 2018, Kevin Knox's rookie season, he played 29 minutes per game, basically, averaged 12.8 points per game, which is 13, basically, shot 37% from the field and 34% from three, and averaged 4.5 rebounds. Anthony Edwards right now plays 29 minutes per game, is averaging 14 points per game, shooting 37% from the field and 31.6% from three, and averaging 4 rebounds a game. I'm just saying their rookie seasons so far are awfully similar. And even though I'm still really high on Anthony Edwards, and in terms of like God-given ability and talent and just physical traits, Anthony Edwards is head and shoulders above Kevin Knox. I'm just saying he is struggling right now, and a concern out of the draft for Edwards was that he didn't truly love basketball. So I don't know. Me personally, if I was the Timberwolves during the draft, I would have taken Lamelo. That was my number one pick. And in hindsight, I think that was right, of course, to take Lamelo number 1. But they went with Edwards, and you can't be mad at it. But at the end of the day, he has these flashy highlight plays, and they're phenomenal. But he isn't shooting good. Like, he's not.
The Grizzlies, or not the Grizzlies, the Timberwolves overall concern me as an organization because although Karl Towns has turned into the superstar we thought he would be ever since then and before then, they've just had a track record of busts and guys not living up to their potential. And now you take a guy like Anthony Edwards who, like we said on draft night, was a concern with his love for the game, and you put him in a situation that really has not been great for rookies coming into the league. It's got to be a concern moving forward if he's just going to be another one in the line of guys who haven't panned out.
So the 5th best rookie in my leaderboard right now is not Emmanuel Quickly. It's Sadiq Bey. He's averaging 9.6 points per game, 4 rebounds, shooting 41% from the field, 40% from three, and in the month of February, averaging 13.1 points per game, and he's maintaining that same level of efficiency. The reason I didn't take Quickly over Bey is because not only is Bey, he's more efficient than Quickly right now, but his height, his length, and his defense, I think, puts him over Quickly. Sadiq Bey is a guy that I thought was going to be good out of Villanova right away. I thought he was NBA ready. I know Brooklyn hopes that they would have kept him, but Shamet has been playing better. But Sadiq Bey is a rookie, and he is built like a tank. Like, you watch him, he looks like an NBA player. He already has an NBA body, And for him to be shooting 40% from three already, it just makes him it just projects him to become a perfect 3-and-D player.
Yeah, I went with Patrick Williams at 5. A lot of the reasons you mentioned, although I said on draft night I thought he was picked a little high, I did think he would be a good pro. And a lot of people didn't even know who he was coming out of college because he didn't start at Florida State, but he has an NBA body and he's got NBA skill set, and it's translated. And I feel like he's gotten better the more and more I've watched him as he gets acclimated. And I personally like the Bulls' young core. I think they're headed in the right direction. I think they should keep Zach LaVine around, and I think overall Patrick Williams fits in really well with what they're doing there.
Yep. The sixth player is Emmanuel Quickly. He's averaging 12 points per game, but what's most impressive is that he's only playing 18 minutes. He's not even playing over 20 minutes, and he's averaging double digits in scoring, which no other rookie right now is doing. Shooting 39% from the field, 36.5% from three, and his shooting has really helped out a Knicks team whose forte is not shooting the three ball well. His stats have dipped a little bit in February, but I think the acquisition of Derrick Rose has only made Emmanuel Quickly better because I think he's a more natural two guard than a one. And Emmanuel Quickly, he's given Knicks fans hope for this rookie class. We all hoped that Obi Toppin was going to be the face of this rookie class for us, but it ended up being Emmanuel Quickly, and he's brought a spark to the Knicks.
Yeah, at 6, I went with Sadiq Bey. You mentioned him before. Coming out of Villanova, I really liked him, especially where the Pistons got him in the draft, a 3-and-D guy. I knew he was going to be able to come into the league and make an impact just because his skill set, 3-and-D, is exactly what teams are looking for. He landed in a perfect spot to step on the court immediately. You know, if he was in Brooklyn right now, who knows if he would even be getting minutes, because
I think he'd be getting minutes.
I think he would help him out on the defensive end for sure, but he's landed in a good spot to be able to get the ball in his hands and you know, learn the ropes, trial by fire, and he's really done well, and he's gotten better and better every time I've watched him, just like I was saying about Patrick Williams. So I'm excited for him. You know, he's been one of the only bright spots in Detroit this season.
7th on my list is Desmond Bane, averaging 10 points per game, 47% from the field, and astonishing 46% from three. And in the month of February, he's averaging about 12 points per game. Desmond Bane was the second best shooter in the draft. Aaron Nesmith was one because of his outlier year at Vanderbilt. But if you look at a body of work in college, Desmond Bane was the more consistent shooter throughout. I know Boston is regretting trading him because Boston had him and they traded him to Memphis, and he's making a big impact for Memphis right now.
I went with, this is, I'm freestyling here because I only had 5, but I did have some honorable mentions, so I'm throwing together here. But I'm going to go with Jae'Sean Tate. I like what he's been doing with the Rockets, especially, you know, in this rebuild mode after the loss of James Harden. There's been a couple different guys stepping up in Houston, although it hasn't necessarily translated to wins as of late. For an undrafted guy, Tate has really impressed me, and he looks to be a building block for them as they move forward.
Yeah, my next guy at number 8 is Jae'Sean Tate. The only reason I have him this low is because he's 25. I can't, you know, you're 25. You should be playing this good once you're in the NBA. But he's averaging 10 points per game, 5 rebounds. He's shooting 54% from the field, and what stands out the most is his hustle and his defense. He's averaging 12 and 6 in February, and Jae'Sean Tate, even when Harden was there, because I watched a lot of Houston when Harden was there, Jae'Sean Tate was really good. He was a good hustler. He was a good defender. He always showed a ton of energy, but I can only have him so high because he is older by more than a couple of years on everybody on this list.
A 25-year-old rookie is pretty crazy, especially in the current NBA. I feel like if you stay more than like 2 years, you're not even looked at on draft boards. You look at guys like Miles Powell and Cassius Winston had such great college careers and didn't even get looked at in the draft. But I'm going to go with Desmond Bane at, I believe this is 8, for a lot of the reasons you mentioned. He was a great shooter in college, and he's come out and played great for the Grizzlies. He just adds to that young core of guys. They've done a spectacular job drafting the past couple of years, and acquiring him on draft night was a great move. Gives them a shooter that they didn't necessarily have too much of coming into the season, and he's really been that dead-eye shooter that they were looking for.
Yeah, and I'm going to just say my 9th and 10th right now. Teo Maledon in OKC right now, averaging 7.7 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and in the month of February, averaging 9, 3, and 3. He's a guy who does a little bit of everything for OKC. Sometimes he spots up, sometimes he plays the one. He facilitates. He has a lot of upside. He has a lot of physical tools that you can work with, and I think that he has a bright future in the league. But number 10, Xavier Tillman, a small ball center. They drafted him on day 2, and he's proven to be really good for them so far, averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds. Really shows a lot of promise at the defensive end. And Memphis, I mean, they got 2 young guys in Desmond Bane and Xavier Tillman who can be solid building blocks for the future. Already a solid young core, but now they just added on to it with Desmond Bane and Xavier Tillman, and they've been playing great thus far.
Yeah, I really like what they're building. A lot of tough young guys, too. At number 9, I have Isaac Okoro. Although I don't think he's been great offensively, defensively is where he landed on the list for me, just because he's getting tested every night by maybe not the opposing team's best player, but if not, their number 2, and he's done a solid job defensively. And in a league where defense isn't valued that much, I've been really impressed with what he's been able to do defensively. He was the perfect addition for the Cavs, who, with 2 offensive guards who weren't great defensively, now he comes in and gives them a defensive option. So I thought that was a good pick for them. And maybe I got a little bit fooled by the highlight reels here, but I put Facundo Campazzo at number 10 for the Nuggets. And he doesn't have a crazy big body of work yet, but some of the things he's been able to do in his time on the court have really impressed me. He's made some passes that are Ricky Rubio-esque, and so I'm hoping he can get on the floor a little bit more and give a chance to prove himself. But, you know, the Nuggets they have their guard rotation set pretty much, so I don't know how much playing time he'll get the rest of the way, but I like what I see out of him, and I hope he can get a chance a little bit more down the road.
I've been watching Campazzo. He does have some highlight reel assists, and I was thinking about putting him on this list. I was very close, but I ended up not doing it.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah,
man. Some of his passes are ridiculous.
He's from Argentina. I think he was in a European league before this, so he already has experience in the pros.
It's something about those overseas guys.
So that's our rookie rankings, our top 10 rookies so far in the NBA.